Hey, Joe,
Mm-hmm.
you believe in ghosts?
I do, actually, Ricky. Just the other night, I was visited by a ghost of Gloria Gaynor. She ended up being really friendly. However, when she appeared, at first I was afraid. I was petrified.
Wow. What does a Japanese ghost say?
What?
Bukaki.
Oh, Some places don't just tell ghost stories. They live them. From the cursed ruins of Bhangarh Fort to the shadowy depths of the Aokigahara Forest and the infamous poltergeist of 30 East Drive. These are the places where nightmares walk among us. So, Ricky, the first cursed location we're going to be speaking about is the Bhangarh Fort in India. In the heart of... Don't fucking cut me off again. In the heart of Rajasthan, India, lies a crumbling fortress surrounded by legends so terrifying that the locals refuse to enter after nightfall. Signs at its entrance even warn visitors to not stray into its borders past sunset. This is Bhangarh Fort, one of the most haunted places in the world, cursed by betrayal, black magic, and death.
It's a bit dark, isn't it?
It is a bit, mate, yeah. Bhangarh Fort was built in 1573 by Raja Bhagwant Das of the Kachawar dynasty for his younger son, Madho Singh. Located on the edge of the Aravalli Hills, the fort was once a thriving city with a temple, palaces, and bustling markets. Surrounded by thick stone walls and 7 imposing gates, Bhangarh was a symbol of prosperity and power. But today, it lies abandoned, its streets emptied, its homes roofless, and a ghostly shell of what it once was. The Archaeological Survey of India maintains the ruins, but had signposted all over the place with the chilling warning of entering the borders of Bhangarh Fort before sunrise and after sunset is strictly prohibited. No other historical site in India carries such a restriction.
I don't think it says that. I think it just says, do not enter. It's like an Indian Gandalf, isn't it? You shall not pass.
Oh, mate, yeah. Gandalf. The most famous legend of Bhangarh Fort tells the tragic story of Ratnavati, a princess renowned across India for her beauty and intelligence. Suitors from royal families all over the country sought her hand.
Do you reckon she was on Tinder?
Do I think she was on Tinder?
I think she was on Tinder.
She had a fucking OnlyFriends, mate. But one man's obsession would seal the fort's fate. A sorcerer skilled in black magic, he fell in love with Ratnavati, but knew she would never accept him. Determined, he tried to cast a spell on her perfume, enchanting it so she'd fall in love with him. But Ratnavati saw through his deception. In defiance, she threw the cursed bottle, and legend says it struck a boulder, which rolled down and crushed the sorcerer. So on top of having a beauty, she was an MLG trick shotter.
Also, do you think this is where they got the Indiana Jones from?
Yeah, fuck me. Yeah, you don't actually see it, but if you look to the far right of the frame in Raiders of the Lost Ark, you just see like a little beautiful Indian princess lob a can of Lynx Africa at the wall before the boulder falls down. With his dying breath, he cursed Bhangarh, proclaiming it will crumble to ruin and who lived there would perish. Soon after, the kingdom was attacked, a fierce battle ensued and Bhangarh was destroyed. Every man, woman and child was slaughtered.
That's a bit harsh, isn't it?
It is a bit savage, like why get the kids involved?
So Lynx Africa basically hit a boulder, trampled the bad-breathed sorcerer, and now everyone got slaughtered.
Basically, why did he have bad breath?
Oh, surely, Colgate didn't really exist then.
Everyone had bad breath, mate.
Maybe she's trying to aim for his mouth.
Yeah, fucking eat this, sweetheart. Visitors describe Bhangarh as a place where time stands still. By day, it's a popular tourist site filled with curious travellers. But as the sun dips below the horizon, the fort transforms. Paranormal investigators have reported disembodied voices calling their names from empty halls, footsteps echoing through the ruins despite no one being there. A feeling of being watched at every turn, and sudden drops in temperature in certain areas, especially near the main palace.
Welcome to my chamber.
This is the one thing that always pisses me off with ghost investigators, is when the temperature drops, they're like, It's haunted. It's haunted. But it's ruined. It's outside. It's going to be fucking cold at night. Some locals whisper of ghostly apparitions. A woman in royal attire believed to be Princess Ratnavati wandering through the fort, or the shadowy figure of the sorcerer seeking revenge. There are even claims that those who have dared to stay overnight, ignoring the warning signs, have disappeared without a trace. Whilst these stories can't be verified, they've made Bhangarh infamous among ghost hunters around the world. See, look, this is why... Look, I'm not being funny. I am a borderline retarded man, okay? If I saw this... I mean, look at the pictures of the fort. You wouldn't step foot in there anyway, but the Indian government has literally placed signs around saying don't enter after sunset. I can just imagine a load of dickheads essentially having a laugh. Oh, I got an idea, boys. Let's go into this cursed fort and have a bit of banter. Fuck the signs. Let's go in. They're in the fort. Hello. Hello. What the fuck was that? They say Indians have the highest IQ in the world, but if people can't follow basic fucking warning signs, they deserve to get black magicked.
Do you reckon now that they've got signs on signs? So like, stay out. No, we really mean stay out. Like, f off.
Yeah, it's like stacked 57 signs high. And the very last one just says, you know what, just do what you fucking want. We don't care anymore. Bhangarh is also surrounded by smaller legends. Some say the fort was built without seeking the blessings of a holy ascetic named Guru Balu Nath, who lived nearby. When construction cast a shadow over his home, he cursed the fort, saying it would fall into ruin if its buildings ever exceeded his height. Strangely, none of the fort's structures have intact roofs to this day. They collapsed almost as soon as they're built, adding weight to this legend. Despite its haunted reputation, Bhangarh has become a popular tourist destination, drawing adventurers, paranormal enthusiasts and historians alike. Its haunting beauty and rich history make it one of India's most fascinating archaeological sites. However, locals remain cautious. Guides often refuse to stay late, and villagers nearby claim they hear music, screams and whispers carried on the wind at night. The fort may now be a tourist attraction, but to many, it's still a place of death and mystery. So our next location is the Aokigahara Forest, which is situated deep in the shadow of Japan's Mount Fuji. A place where sunlight struggles to pierce through the dense canopy, where moss-covered roots twist like skeletal fingers, and where silence feels heavy and unnatural. This is the Aokigahara Forest, known across the world as the Suicide Forest. For centuries it has been shrouded in dark legends, tragedy, and whispers of restless spirits. Aokigahara stretches across 35 square kilometers at the northwestern base of Mount Fuji. Known in Japan as Jukai, meaning the Sea of Trees, its dense vegetation and twisted roots cause a labyrinth so thick that the sound barely travels. Formed over 1,000 years ago from lava flows after Mount Fuji erupted, the ground is covered with volcanic rock, making it impossible for compasses to function properly, and even GPS signals fail, leaving travellers disorientated if they stray too far off of its paths. The forest's natural beauty is breathtaking, yet it carries a sinister reputation that has lasted for centuries. Japanese folklore tells of Yuri, or restless spirits, that haunt the forest. These are said to be souls of those who died with intense sorrow or anger, unable to pass on peacefully. Travellers often tie coloured ribbons or rope around trees to mark their paths, and some believe it's to ward off spirits trying to lure them deeper into the forest. For centuries, the forest was associated with ubasate, an ancient practice in which elderly or sick family members were allegedly abandoned to die in remote mountains or forests during times of famine. That is savage. Like you got your dementia-ridden nan going, come on, nanny, walk in the woods, come on.
Couple of rich teas on the ground.
yeah, lured in. You lure him in with a few fucking chocolate digestives.
Yeah.
Bye, nanny! Straight into the car. While historians debate how common this truly was, the legend adds to the Aokigahara's dark mystique. Aokigahara became infamous worldwide as a suicide site. Since the 1950s, it has been known as a location where hundreds of people have taken their own lives. prompting Japanese authorities to place signs throughout the forest that read, "Your life is precious, please think of your family."
Isn't this the forest where Logan Paul had a wank?
I mean, he probably did, but he recorded a dead body.
Oh, I got a bit confused on that one.
Yeah, a bit confused, mate. Don't you worry. Volunteers and local police conduct annual sweeps of the forest to recover remains, while efforts have been made to de-emphasise its reputation. Still, its dark history has cemented Aokigahara as a symbol of tragedy and loss. Visitors to the Aokigahara often describe a deep sense of unease, a heaviness in the air that makes the forest feel alive. Reports include sudden temperature drops, even in warm weather, disembodied whispers and laughter echoing through the trees, the sensation of being followed only to turn around and see nothing there, sightings of pale apparitions believed to be the spirits of those who have died in the forest. Some hikers have even reported encountering ghostly figures standing silently among the trees and vanishing as they approach. Paranormal investigators claim that the forest's dense vegetation and unique acoustics amplify feelings of fear and paranoia, but others believe it's something far more supernatural. Aokigahara is also infamous for its natural oddities. The high iron content of the volcanic rock is said to disrupt compasses, leading some explorers to believe they're walking in circles. GPS devices can even fail, and the thick canopy blocks the sun, creating a constant twilight effect. Visitors often follow bright ribbons tied to trees as makeshift breadcrumbs, but in Japanese culture, these ribbons also carry a spiritual meaning, symbolising a tether to life, a fragile hope of returning safely. In recent years, documentaries and films have drawn attention to Aokigahara, some respectfully exploring its cultural significance and others sensationalising its tragic history. Local authorities have made great efforts to shift the narrative, encouraging tourism focused on the forest's natural beauty rather than its deathly reputation. Still, for ghost hunters and thrill seekers, Aokigahara remains a chilling pilgrimage site. Many come seeking answers and others leave with even more questions. Despite its dark reputation, Aokigahara is a sacred place in Japanese culture. It is a site of deep reflection, and many local spiritual leaders encourage visitors to treat it with respect. Shrines can be found deep in the forest, offering a glimmer of peace in an otherwise somber setting. For some, the forest is a reminder of the fragility of life. For others, it's proof that tragedy can leave an imprint that lingers on for generations. So, Ricky, we are going to talk about a location which is literally just about an hour's drive away from us, which is Pluckley Village and Daring Woods, located in Kent, in the United Kingdom. On the surface, Pluckley Village in Kent looks like an untouched slice of English countryside, quaint, peaceful and idyllic. But beneath that serene facade lies a dark legacy. It's known as the most haunted village in Britain, hallowed for centuries by ghost stories, spectral sightings and sinister murmurs in the nearby woods. Pluckley's haunting reputation dates back centuries. Its narrow lanes and crooked cottages give rise to over a dozen documented ghosts. Among them, long-dead highwaymen, a red lady searching for her lost child, and a schoolmaster who still drifts where he is found hanging after World War I. In 1989, Guinness World Records officially named Pluckley England's most haunted village, with reports ranging from apparitions in pubs to flickering lights in St. Nicholas Church crypt. Let's meet a few of these spirits. We have the Red Lady, who is believed to be Lady Daring. She allegedly wanders the churchyard searching for her stillborn baby, and she leaves behind a scent of roses. We've also got the White Lady, which is said to haunt the church and nearby library. Her body was buried in multiple lead coffins to preserve her beauty forever. The Highwayman at Fright Corner. Robert Dubois reenacts his final moments, fighting off attackers before being pinned to a tree. That is fucking cool, man. If I want to die, that is one cool way to go. Just fighting off, like, imagine just one guy fighting off, like, 5 attackers. And then you've got, like, a big old brute called Ricky. Just comes along, pins him to a tree. Push! Off he goes.
Straight through the edge.
Straight through, well, yeah, pinned to, it doesn't actually say where he was pinned.
I know, I was curious to know where they would pin him. I'd probably go straight through the throat.
Okay.
I mean, just just hypothetically speaking, if this amazing, attractive brute called Ricky was, handsome and dashing and buff ting. Carry on, sorry.
I thought you was adding on to that. 15 minutes of this is you describing this Ricky character. He's got a huge cock, huge bollocks. Screaming man at the brickworks. A labourer crushed under a clay wall still cries out in anguish from that exact spot. The watercress woman is the ghost of a gypsy woman who drowned in a stream at the Pinnock, and the teacher on Dicky Bus's Lane, a schoolmaster who hung himself. His ghost reportedly swings from a tree each night. Even Pluckley's pubs, the Black Horse, the Spectre's Arm and the Daring Arms are renowned for poltergeist activity, unseen hands moving objects, phantom patrons and disembodied screams. You went to one of these pubs, didn't you?
Yeah, Black Horse. Went in there, a couple of friends, but it's eerie. You go in there, everyone turns their head. You're not from round here.
We don't take kindly to your kind round here, boy.
That was the quickest pint I ever had.
Yeah, neck your pint and get out of there, mate. Just beyond Pluckley is Daring Woods, nicknamed the Screaming Woods. By day, it's tranquil, but at night, it's absolutely horrifying. Sudden blood-curdling screams echo through the forest, scattering wildlife and rattling even the bravest souls. Locals say these are the voices who have died, lost among the trees. But the forest's horrors don't end with legends. In 1948, on Halloween night, villagers witnessed strange lights from among the trees. The next day, 20 bodies, 11 of which were children, were found piled in the leaf litter. There were no visible injuries, and autopsies failed to determine the cause of death. Local police ruled it as carbon monoxide poisoning, despite widespread scepticism. How can you get carbon monoxide poisoning in the woods? I thought that was something you get from like a leaky boiler.
Boy races with like 20 cars now, all the exhaust banging out.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, in 1948, yeah, the woods would have been packed out with Vauxhall coursers and boy racers doing donuts in the middle. Exactly 50 years later, on Halloween again, 4 college students vanished in the woods, and locals reported web-like figures of light in the sky that night. Their bodies were never found, and the case was quietly closed. Visitors described Daring Woods as beautiful but unnervingly alive. One Reddit user recounted, "My friend thought he saw a woman walking ahead. Deeper in, we heard muffled whispers and a woman mumbling unintelligibly. But no one was there." Another told of hearing footsteps behind them at night, next to the bus shelter. Turning around, they saw nothing. Is Pluckley haunted by actual spirits or by deep-seated folklore and dark collective memory? Some researchers suggest that the village's long history of violence and tragedy and isolation may have imprinted itself on the land. Local tours and ghost walks serve both as a tribute to the past and a reminder of the fragility of life. Still, many visitors agree. Once night falls, Pluckley, and especially the Screaming Woods, feels closer to another realm.
Do you reckon that they all do like an a cappella at night?
Yeah, fuck me, yeah. Imagine if you're just walking past Daring Woods. You got the bloody ghost hunters. They're ready. We're like, tonight, lads, we're going to catch evidence of ghosts. And then all of a sudden, they're like, shh, 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 shh. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? And all you hear is fucking Wonderwall by Oasis playing deep in the woods around the campfire. So now we're moving on to a very, very, very famous location called the Stanley Hotel. In the heart of Colorado's Rocky Mountains stands an elegant, white colonial-style hotel. By day, it's a charming landmark filled with history. By night, it transforms into one of America's most haunted places, where ghostly guests check in but never check out. This is the Stanley Hotel, a grand masterpiece built in 1909 and that inspired Stephen King's The Shining. But the real story of this haunted haven is far more chilling than fiction. The Stanley Hotel was the brainchild of Freeland Oscar Stanley, an inventor both known for co-founding the Stanley Motor Carriage Company. After contracting tuberculosis in the early 1900s, Stanley moved to Estes Park, Colorado, hoping that the mountain air would save his life. Not only did he recover, but he was so captivated by the landscape that he decided to build a luxury hotel for wealthy travellers. When it opened in 1909, the Stanley was a marvel of its time, offering electricity, running water, and even telephones. Luxuries rarely found in remote Colorado resorts back then. However, from the very beginning, whispers of the paranormal began to swirl around the Grand Retreat. Many of the Stanley's hauntings are believed to be tied to Freeland and Flora Stanley themselves. Guests and staff claim that Flora's spirit still lingers, her presence often accompanied by the soft sound of piano music drifting from the ballroom late at night. Though, no one is there. Frieden is said to appear in the billiard room and the lobby, watching over his beloved hotel. Employees describe seeing a tall man in a suit standing silently before vanishing without a trace. Some say that the Stanleys never truly left. Instead, they became eternal hosts to their famous hotel. One of the hotel's most famous hauntings centres around room 217. In 1911, a maid named Elizabeth Wilson entered the room to light an acetylene gas lamp. A leak caused a massive explosion, throwing her through the floor and nearly killing her. Though she survived, the spirit is said to have returned. Guests in room 217 often report their clothes neatly unpacked, shoes lined up, and a strange cold draft sweeping through the room. Some even wake to find a ghostly maid tucking them in at night. I would love that. Imagine waking up in the Stanley Hotel. You've got like a transparent maid looking at you like, oh, I'm just tucking you in. Just tucking you in. Ooh! I already know the first thing I would ask. You do happy endings, love.
I would ask her why she smells like burnt toast.
Why do you smell crispy? Am I having a stroke? I can smell toast. Your missus wakes up and sees you getting tugged off by a ghost. Is it cheating?
Yeah.
No, not really. She's
Spiritual
dead.
planes and all that. Like, how does it go?
It's ectoplasm, sweetheart. It's not my love juice. It was this very room that Stephen King and his wife stayed in during a visit in 1974. That night, King dreamed of his son running down endless hallways whilst being chased by a possessed fire hose. The next morning, he had the inspiration for The Shining. In room 401, the so-called ghost thief haunts this space. Visitors report keys gone missing, wallets vanishing, and closet doors swinging on their own. Some women say that they've been touched inappropriately by unseen hands in closet recesses. What a fucking baller. I've come back from the dead to slap booties. Ghost hunters attribute these events to paranormal mischief. Skeptics note that the room sits above a busy elevator shaft, which vibrates and might explain items shifting. But that doesn't account for the cold spots or the lingering unease. The next room is room 407, which is meant to be haunted by Lord Dunraven, who once owned the land. Guests described an odd comfort, covers pulled up while they sleep, a presence perched on the foot of the bed, and sometimes an indistinct figure in the corner, or face peeking out of the window when it's supposed to be empty. Room 418 is alive! With the ghost of dead children. Guests report pitter-patter footsteps, giggles and echoing through the corridor, hangers flicking off closets, bed covers yanked back, and unexplained impressions in the bed, like tiny bodies vanishing moments before. Even Stephen King claimed to hear children whispering for their nanny in here, in the same hallway where his nightmares began. In room 428, you may encounter a ghostlier type of vigilante, the cowboy. Women recount waking to find a tall cowboy standing by the bed, watching and sometimes leaning over to kiss their forehead before disappearing into the darkness. That would shit me up. It would be my luck. My luck. I'd end up in room 428. I'd wake up. I'm handcuffed to the bed. There's a big bloke dressed as a cowboy kissing me on the forehead, and then he slowly starts to put a bit of lipstick on me.
You're looking real pretty there, baby.
You're looking real pretty there, sweetheart. The last thing I hear is just a zipper. Even the slopes of the roof can't stifle the sound of footsteps of furniture moving above, even though there's no room above at all. The fourth floor of the Stanley is notorious for paranormal activity. Guests often hear children running, laughing and playing late at night, though no children are booked in at the hotel. In fact, staff once investigated loud footsteps in an empty hallway, only to find tiny handprints on the mirror the next morning. Some believe these are the spirits of children of wealthy guests from the hotel's early years, forever playing in the halls they once roamed. The Stanley has been featured in shows like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, and countless documentaries. Investigators have captured disembodied voices, mysterious shadows, and even apparitions on film. In one investigation, a thermal camera captured a glowing figure moving in the empty ballroom. Another team reported clear EVPs of a woman's voice saying, "Get out," from room 217. Even skeptics often leave the Stanley convinced there's something beyond explanation here. Thanks to Stephen King, the Stanley Hotel has become a cultural phenomenon. Though Kubrick's iconic film version of The Shining wasn't filmed here, King's 1997 TV adaptation was shot on location. Today, the hotel leans into its haunted reputation, offering ghost tours, spirited rooms, and even a psychic on staff. Thousands of paranormal enthusiasts visit every year to walk the halls that inspired one of the greatest horror stories of all time. It'd also be my luck that I get the cowboy in my room, putting lipstick on me, and as soon as I go to wash myself after he's had his way with me, I'll have that horrible, naked, sacky old woman sat in my bath as well.
So the question is, what room would you pick?
Out of all the haunted ones, or can I just have one that's absolutely fine?
No. You got to pick out of these ones. Like, what one?
Room 217, mate. The one where I get the happy ending and tucked in and a kiss goodnight from a lovely looking maid.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to take the cowboy then.
You're going to have the cowboy. Fair enough, mate. And last but not least, we are looking into 30 East Drive. Hidden in plain sight on a quiet council estate in Pontefract in West Yorkshire stands a house that has terrified all who have entered. This is 30 East Drive, home to one of Europe's most violent poltergeists, known to locals as Fred, or the ominous Black Monk. In 1966, the Pritchard family, Joe, Jean and their 2 children, moved into what seemed to be an ordinary semi-detached house. Almost immediately, small disturbances began. Flickering lights, cold spots and objects shifting on their own seemed like minor inconveniences at first, but it soon escalated. Photographs were slashed without explanation, green foam oozed from the taps, and furniture flew across rooms, and the family claimed to be physically assaulted by an unseen force. Objects weren't just moved, they were thrown with alarming speeds and precision, leaving deep scratches on the walls and marks on the floors.
Fred, that? I mean, what a name.
I know.
Fuck off, Fred.
Fuck off, Fred. Yeah, the entity was nicknamed Fred, but locals soon referred to it as the Black Monk, inspired by a dark hooded figure reportedly seen roaming around the house. Some say this figure resembles a monk executed centuries ago for sacrilege, but no historical evidence confirms this. Witnesses described Fred as appearing suddenly in corners, sometimes hovering above furniture, and sometimes sitting silently at the foot of beds. Attempts to communicate often result in violent poltergeist activity, slamming doors and objects flying. The Pritchard family weren't alone in their terror. Neighbours reported hearing screaming from the house at night. Plates shattered without warning, photos were ripped from the walls and personal items were thrown or destroyed. Imagine that, moving in there 2024. Ah, Daddy, thank you for my new PlayStation 5. Smash! Have some of that.
Then just picks up the boy and just yeets him.
The thing is, how do we know? Look, I believe in ghosts. Yeah, I'm a bit of a weirdo. But how do we not know that the kids, whenever there's kids involved in hauntings, is when it gets a little bit weird? Because how do we know they're not like fucking with the parents, for example? Like, or if they broke something and they didn't want to get in trouble, they'd be like, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was Fred. Fred did it. Yes." Fred did it, Mummy. In one particularly terrifying incident, Joe Pritchard was reportedly pinned to the wall by an invisible force, leaving bruises that lasted for days. Jean described being slapped across the face and hearing disembodied footsteps following her through empty rooms. The intensity and duration of these attacks remain unexplained. Interest in 30 East Drive surged after the Pritchards moved out. Paranormal investigators flocked to the house, hoping to capture evidence of Fred's presence. In 2015, the series Most Haunted conducted a live broadcast from the location. Team members reported hearing disembodied voices, feeling cold drafts, and witnessing unexplained shadows. Most Haunted is the most bullshit ghost program out of all of them. Have you seen that clip where they got the psychic and he's like, yeah, the ghost is communicating with me now, and he just goes. Yvonne, whatever her name is, Yvette, was going, "Oh, what's it saying? What's it saying?" And he goes, "Melly loves dick! Melly loves dick!" Have you not seen that?
You alright? Alright. What is it, Barry? You alright? Mary loves dick. Mary loves dick.
Today, 30 East Drive stands as a chilling monument to its haunted past. Paranormal investigators, thrill seekers, and curiosity-driven tourists continue to report strange occurrences. Some claim to hear faint laughter echoing through the empty rooms, footsteps pacing the hallways, and shadowy figures vanishing before their eyes. The house is closed permanently to residents, yet its spectral tenant appears as active as ever. Several theories have been offered. Some suggest that the house sits atop a Lee line, which is a mystical conduit for paranormal energy. Others believe that the Black Monk is a residual poltergeist, feeding on the fear of those inside. Skeptics cite psychological explanations such as mass hysteria or heightened perception. Yet the intensity, duration and the physicality of the phenomena, objects thrown with force, injuries sustained by witnesses, make conventional explanations difficult to accept. 30 East Drive may appear unassuming, but its history is steeped in terror and mystery. From the violent Black Monk to objects flying without warning, the house stands as one of Europe's most infamous haunted locations.
Imagine going to work then with a black eye. Boss goes, what's going on with you? Fucking Fred done me again, didn't he? Hit me up against the wall, slapped me missus, then he slapped me.
When he slapped my son, he slapped my daughter, he slapped me neighbour, he kicked me cat down the stairs. And there you have it. From the crumbling ruins of Bhangarh Fort to the eerie whispers of the Aokigahara Forest, the haunted streets of Pluckley and Derring Woods, the chilling halls of the Stanley Hotel and the dark secrets of 30 East Drive. These places remind us that sometimes the scariest stories aren't just tales, they're carved into the walls, the trees and the very air we breathe. If you enjoyed this dive into the world's most cursed and haunted places, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring that bell to never miss another trip into the unknown. And tell me in the comments, would you dare visit any of these places yourself?